no means mentally stable enough to run this country, and he should be impeached, and every congressman who hasn't filed those articles should lose their job.
And is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yeah.
Is there a doomsday plan? Am I right to ask about a doomsday plan?
Deeper concerns tonight that the world's shining light of democracy has gone dark.
It feels like the end of the world.
It feels like we're trying to avoid the apocalypse.
Do you see this as a doomsday scenario?
This is a different Earth today than it was.
Well, America is crying tonight. I mean, literally crying.
Everybody is crying.
My big fucking question today is how deep has the Trump derangement syndrome grown in the society, and why in hell does the left continue to wallow in this obscurity? Now, according to a contributor at the Daily Caller, William Davis, that he titled an article, "Who has the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome?" Said it's almost flu season, where there's a new sickness going around the Washington DC. The sickness is deeply contagious and also seems to spread quickly in newsrooms throughout the country, particularly in metropolitan areas. It's called Trump derangement syndrome, and symptoms include red-faced temper tantrums about the president, long-winded, condescending lectures to the American public, and flipping on policy positions you have held for years. If you have any of these, you should contact your doctors, as you just might have TDS. Unfortunately, many American public figures have been afflicted with TDS, and there seems to be no cure in sight. The public figures that have TDS include but not limited to actors, musicians, journalists, and politicians. With so many options, it is hard to figure out who has the worst case of TDS, so we narrowed it down for you. So who has the worst case of TDS? Vote below. Now, if you continue reading this article, you'll see that the likes of Brian Stella took the first position, Andrew Cuomo came after, and Navarro followed, John Kasich, and then Jeff Flake. All these people lost their ways due to their hatred for Donald Trump. Now, according to Anna L. Stark of the AmericanThinker.com, she said there are 7 stages of TDS. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the details. If you want to know just how crazy the left have become, I suggest you check out her article at AmericanThinker.com. She said they include the shock and the disbelief stage. Now, this is where she described the crying and the wailing of Hillary Clinton's supporters after the great crash of the anointed queen, as President Donald Trump pulled off the unimaginable. Now, she went on to the second stage, where she said is the denial stage. This stage follows a week after the election as paranoia kicked in which claims of ballot tampering and infamous Russian brainwashing started. And Hillary Clinton shortly came out with the aptly titled book called What Happened, before she began her tour of blame. Now, the third stage is the stage of anger and rage. For the TDS patients who have crossed the denial stage, they've fully ventured into the business of anger, hate, and rage, despite the wonders President Trump have been pulling with the economic status of the country. Now, the fourth stage, which is the bargaining stage, it is of no surprise at all that the liberals, with their vicious leftist ideology, have no interest with bargaining nor negotiating, as all they could think of, their mental capability, is to burn it all to the ground. Now, go to the fifth stage, which is the stage of guilt. Then the sixth stage, which is depression. Unfortunately, there is no magical pill that permanently cures the TDS and its accompanying depression. If there were, this pharmaceutical company would have made a lot of money and be fucking rich right now. Now, go to the seventh stage, which is the acceptance stage. This is where they decide, oh, let's forget about it. This guy is awesome, and there's nothing in hell we can do about it. Now, before I get off, for some TDS patients probably listening to me right now, and if you are not, but you know one, please be a good lad and make sure they get this. Do tell them that our beloved President Trump on July 26th offered a prescription for TDS on Twitter. He called the case against impeaching Trump, which I would encourage all people with Trump derangement syndrome to read. Do tell them to read it, meditate on it, and please recover, as we all know they need serious fucking help, but they have their heads far up their asses and are too proud to ask for it. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.